Welcome to the In Her Image podcast. I'm your host, Andrea and Janis. This is season 4, Formed, Becoming Who God Made You to Be. In this season, I get to sit down with incredible women for honest, weekly conversations as we explore the character traits of the Proverbs 31 woman. Pull up a chair and join the conversation. Hi, everyone. I am so excited that we have Janis Lewis joining us today as we dive into this week's topic of trustworthy. Janis, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I could intro you and tell everyone all the things about you, but I don't think I can do as good of a job as you. So would you introduce yourself to everyone? Let them know what they should know about you.
Well, that's a lot of words now.
Where to
I'll have to
start?
see if
Where
I
to
can
start?
condense it. Well, I was a wife for 47 years. We have 3 grown boys, and I just have a passion for music and for God, and for now, because of my husband's passion or my husband's passing, for other widows who are walking the path from grief to healing.
So, as I was working on this season of the podcast, I reached out to quite a few women to invite everyone on because I wanted to bring women on for us to talk about what these character traits look like in real life, how we can do a better job at revealing that aspect of God. So one of the things I asked everyone was, what character trait would you like to talk about, or what stood out to you? And for you, it was trustworthy. So I'm curious, why did you pick trustworthy?
Well, to just narrow down the playing field here, after I lost my husband 3.5 years ago, it required me to lean on God so much more than I had before. Because I think every woman is the same way. When you're married, that person has a lot of your time and your efforts. And so when that person is no longer there and there's nobody else to converse with, you turn to God. And
Yep.
he's always proven himself in the past in many, many different ways. He's never been late. Little bit less time frame there, and him doing it a little bit faster, of course, would be awesome, right? But I learned a lot of things over the years, and it has given me a sure trust and belief in God. But after losing my husband, um, that was the focus that God had me on. I now am retired. I'm no longer working, and so I have the time, which a lot of people don't. There was a time I didn't, but having that time with him, trusting in him because he's never failed me before, is what has led me to the word trust and being trustworthy.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So when you think of trustworthy in terms of being a woman made in God's image, one of the character traits is that she is trustworthy. What does that mean to you?
Well, again, when you think about trust, you know, God is the ultimate person to hear everything. And so that foundation led me to a stronger foundation, and is also in what I keep reminding those at the Widow's Table ministry about. It has changed in me over the last 3.5 years. He's become much more real than ever before. And having that trust in him allows me to do what he needs to do in me to make me more like him. Can't do it without him. Don't want to.
Right? I hear you. It's not even possible, I feel like, because without, I mean, he is the author, right? We are made in his image.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't have his image, if we don't know his image, how can we properly bear his image and reflect it, right?
Right, exactly. Because we can't. We have to
Right.
learn it from him. And through the things that we go through here on this earth, that strengthens that revelation that God is always there. He'll never leave you, never forsake you. You're not alone. He's always going to be the one carrying us. And that trust in him first makes me carry that trait
Mhm.
into all the things that God has me doing at this point.
So I'd like for you to think about not you having this trait of trustworthy, but someone that throughout your life that you did trust. What was it about them that caused you to trust them? Like what traits or what behaviors did they exhibit that allowed you to trust them?
Um, well, I would have to say mainly was my husband of 47 years. And I learned that when he said something, he would always follow through with it. He never led me astray, but yet he was always there, girding me up and being my source of support. Trust doesn't come overnight. It's learned. It's through the going through the valleys. It's getting to the other side and seeing that there is joy again to be had, life yet to be had. And so he helped instill those traits in me.
So what I heard in that is your husband was consistent, right? What he said is what he did, and that ultimately to trust.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
you can depend. That's a good word, depend. You can depend
Mm-hmm.
on the person. They say they're going to do it, they're going to do it. The other thing I heard is consistency over time,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
right? Always coming through. They're going to be there in their actions. They
Mm-hmm.
demonstrate that they are who they say they are, right? And you can trust them. So that's a really big one. Um, what would you say is something that you do that promotes trustworthiness so that like with your relationships, how do you try to foster trustworthiness? For example, for me, I know that trustworthiness is very important to me because I've been betrayed deeply. So it's something that I focus on with my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to share what I do because then it'll take away from you. So tell me, like, what do you do to instill trustworthiness for those that are in your life?
Well, that can be answered because of the widows ministry that I'm a part of. You know, a widow doesn't like sharing their whole life story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. They don't like being in this place, at this time. All the things that go along with that ministry and learning to be trustworthy is what I take into those meetings because they need a safe place. They need to be um, encouraged, they need to be seen. And what happens in the room or on the phone stays there. So that's one of the ways that you can be trustworthy is by earning that respect from the others that you're around and
Mhm.
them knowing that you're going to follow through. You're going to do what you said you were going to do. You're not going to spread, anything that's not supposed to be spoken of. I mean, that that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, you said a word that hit me, safe.
Hmm.
Why be trustworthy? Because you want those in your life to feel safe,
Safe, exactly. Hmm.
right? Safe. I can be who I am. I can share with you something in confidence and know that it's not going to go outside of here, right? Like I am safe with you. When I studied like neuroscience and humans in general, I love humanity, right? I see being human as a gift from God. So I've studied it. And scientists say that there's three things that humans need. And we all think food, shelter, water, right? But not those three things. It's love, belonging, and safety.
Yes.
And when one of those three things or more than one is missing, it causes people to act outside of the divine design because they're
Exactly.
trying to protect themselves, right?
Yeah.
So that just got me thinking when I heard you say the word safe, because I think it's a good why. Why does it matter to be trustworthy? Because you want people around you to be safe. And when people feel safe, they can
Yes.
be their truest, authentic, and best self.
Which in turns bring anything that the enemies meant for harm and for evil and in our heads, with them going 90 miles an hour, you know, um, it's what gives that opportunity.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's turn a little bit into what has been something that has broken your trust. What is an action or has someone done in your life over your lifetime that actually wound up breaking your trust? Like, what's an indication that trust isn't there?
Um, Not sure. I mean, I've never been part of the in crowd or,
Join the club,
it's
Janis.
like, so you learn early on, you have to be stable in yourself, and not be wavering in the things that other people say, do, or knowingly or unknowingly,
Mm-hmm.
having that um, relationship with Christ and knowing that no matter what happens to you, he's going to be there to help you through it. He'll walk you down that path. He'll carry you if you need it. But so I try real hard not to hold on to any offenses. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not an in your face type of person, anyways.
You are not, that is for sure.
I can be very overly sensitive at times. And so there, what somebody says or does may be something that triggers that oversensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
So just keeping that at bay and knowing God for who he is, that's what I dwell on.
So I have to say, it's pretty incredible that I ask you that question and nothing jumps to mind, which goes back to the earlier part of our conversation where ultimately you talked about your trust in God. And it seems like that trust that you have in God outweighs someone who would break your trust because your worth, your life isn't dependent on whether someone is trustworthy or not. Ultimately, it's God.
Right. And it has to be. It's the only way to live, move, and have our being is with that trust. And I just choose every day. I mean, there might be something that says or whatever. I have to choose every day. Who am I going to believe? Who am I going to
Yeah.
trust? How am I going to go forward with this? And quite
Yeah.
honestly, I don't have time to get angry with anybody. That would just put me down a deep hole and it become dark. And I work very hard at trying to stay in joy, stay in faith, speak what I believe, And so, um, and if people are going to be people, and they're not
Yes.
going to always say the right thing or do the right thing. I mean, I'm not perfect either, and I'm sure, you know, there's been things that maybe I've done that has not been nice, in the
Yep.
past. But
Yep.
um, we have to keep that in mind that the other person's only human.
So true. Make sure everyone's in their proper place. I always say, you put me on a pedestal, I guarantee you I will fall and I will fall hard because I know I'm not perfect. I know that I fail. And also, there's times where we act or react without really understanding the full situation, right? So we're limited in our understanding and our knowledge. It's always good to take a pause, have wisdom in everything that we do.
Definitely.
So my next question actually was going to be, what do you think? What do you, I'm going to ask it because I was like, well, you kind of answered it, but I'm going to ask it. What do you think is the biggest thing people misunderstand about trustworthiness? It's kind of a big question.
Yeah.
I would say like hearing you share, it's almost that for you to be trustworthy and for you to live a life where you are capable of trusting people without it destroying you, you must trust God first.
Oh, definitely. He has to come before my family or anybody else or anything else I do.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I've been hearing from you this whole time. Like you embody it. You are my superhero, Janis.
Well, if I'm functioning the way God wants me to be, that's great. Because
Right?
that's what he wants us to be, is purposed in our character, in our actions, in our words, in our just every way that we carry ourselves, so that we can be that example to others around us. We can't be a good example if we're not acting like him, because this world will try to pull us every different way without recognition to who will hurt or not hurt, what it will
Right.
accomplish or not accomplish. And so, just have to stay in that realm. Try to stay on that right path and not get
Distracted.
distracted. And it's easy to
Yeah.
get distracted.
Yep. And don't the negative things in life distract us way more than the positive? Like it takes literally negative things steal our attention.
Which
And
steals your joy.
sometimes, yeah, and sometimes the good things require us to really focus. Like one steals and the other one requires an intentional choice to be, I'm going to choose to look this way. I'm going to choose because I don't know what it is in the world. The negative stuff really has a way of just, it's why the news is negative on social media, all the negative stuff. There's so much good in the world. And I think that the bad overshadows because it's so loud,
It is so
demanding.
evident. It's evident.
Yeah.
And, being at peace and, knowing God is the only thing that can overcome or keep us above all of this distraction and stuff in the world, because we I can't do it on my own. I literally could
Yep.
not stand and live in this earth on my own. And if I tried, I would fall flat.
Yep.
So,
I tried for a little bit and I could tell you I'd rather have the trials in my life that I have had with God than to have an easy life without God, because I've done it both ways. And even the easy life without God is riddled with so much uncertainty that it's scary. It's very easy to go hopeless thinking about the negative and how everything we see sometimes we're distracted by the negative. Does that not erode our trust? Right? Erodes our trust in humanity,
mhm,
in
mhm.
people, because what do we constantly see in these negative stories? This person hurting that person, this person hurting that person, this person hurting that person. Look at what could go wrong here. Look at what, and then what happens? That's where our minds are. And now we can't, not only do we not trust life, we not only do we not trust people, we can't trust life.
Right.
And that's us not trusting God?
Exactly. Exactly. And all of these things that happen in the natural are just things. They're just things. Because
Yep.
ultimately, God has every plan, every purpose, every open door, every word you're supposed to speak, or those you're supposed to, talk to or hug or just give a smile. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
all comes from God. It's all part of Him being stable and complete in your life. We have to have, in this day and time, we have to have that stability more. It is more important than it's ever been in the past.
I
More
agree.
important because there's so much bad. There is so much evil. And like you say, it's everywhere you look. And for that reason, I do not listen to the news at all.
Yep.
I don't
It,
do it.
but you know what my belief is, and I think removing yourself from the news and from social media and all the negativity, you and you're in life, let's say real person, physical life,
Hmm.
you actually realize that there's more good than bad. It's just the bad loves its attention and we give it the attention,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it does erode our trust
Hmm.
severely in every aspect. Okay, so last question would be, and I want to do this with everyone. What is one practical step that someone can take if they want to embody trustworthiness? Like, what is, I'm sure there's so many things, but what is one thing that a woman can do that can help her create an environment where she can be trusted?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is what I always tell my widows, because individually we have to become secure in who we are. And so um, I tell them often, we have to remember when the bad things go on, when something is said, or when we're just lonely for our spouse and don't have anywhere to go. We have to turn our eyes to Jesus and focus on Him. We have to trust Him, and then we have to thank Him. And we have to be obedient in those areas because without us focusing on God and believing He's got a plan for our life, even though it may look like we're in the valley of death right now, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We have to be able to trust Him in order to trust others or to become trustworthy ourselves. So it's lift your eyes up, trust Him, and then thank Him. The rest
Beautiful.
in His hands for Him to do, for Him to will, and for us to just follow one step at a time. And every time we take that step, God's on the other end of it before your foot ever hits the floor. He's already there and has taken care of that step. And then, that just keeps happening for us. It's the only way to stay connected and stay trustworthy is by accentuating Him and following His example.
Amen. That is solid, solid advice. Janis, I want to thank you for being here and sharing your gold nuggets of wisdom because there's so much to share. I know that your focus is on helping widows because you have walked it, and in trusting God, you have walked through it and can now help other ladies walk through it. So I'd love for you to share with people how they can get in touch with you, where they can connect with you.
Okay, so right now I have a Facebook group or a Facebook page, which is Janis Lewis Author. And
Okay.
that is a place where I, will be putting my books and um, giving them a way to contact me, which at that point, they can DM me, they can personal message me, whatever, and then we can connect verbally or over the phone or something. I do have a website that'll be being worked on. So that
Mm-hmm.
will be another place at some point coming up in the future will be ready and available. So those two areas mainly right now.
Amazing. So I will put the link in the comments for people who want to connect with you. And once your website's up, I'll update the description so we have that there as well. I know that you do have the widows group. You're based in Jacksonville, Florida. So
Yes.
if you're in that area and whether you're a widow or you know someone who is and needs some support, Janis is definitely someone that I would connect with. Okay, so lastly, I know you have a book coming out.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that. But first, you announced yesterday that you published a book, right? So share a little
Did
bit about that.
I did. It was a secret. The Lord impressed on me in 2025. Well, first of all, let me go back to every year at Christmas time. I try to do something special for my widows group, you know.
Okay.
And this year, joy is, it's one of those things that we have to stir up and be mindful of his word that goes along with that. Because for a widow, you can have a lot of rough, hard days. And so he put it on my heart to write a little devotional. It's called Joy, 25 scriptures for 25 days. And I was able to get that done and out to them at our Christmas party this year, which they were all excited about. One of my widows sent it to a friend, or the link to a friend of hers. She called me and said how good it was. So I was just,
Oh, that's so
wow, this is
good.
great. And then my senior group at church um, is so special, just so special. We represent probably, I think they said 19 churches in the people
Wow.
that come there, because it's not just for our church fellowship. It's a place that God wanted to create, and gave my friend this vision for the senior group, and it has grown exponentially, or however you say that.
Yeah, that's the right word. I use that word a lot.
So, so then, he imposed upon me, or asked me to write a devotional for them, which I dedicated to them and was because of them. Um, Tried to get it, I did get it done before um, Christmas, but it didn't get here until just Sunday. It took
Oh
like
wow.
5 or
Yes, I
six
know how that
weeks
works.
to
Yeah.
get here. I was just like, wow. So, um, Connie, the lead over that ministry, um, had said, when it comes in, we won't tell the seniors about it at Christmas. We're not going to tell anybody. And then when they come in, we'll have a book signing, and I'll say that there's a guest in our midst. And so yesterday was D-Day. It was unfolding this, process that I am a writer and author, and I've spoken for the group there, several times in the past as well. So they have a special place in my heart. So when the books came in, our meeting, they came in on Sunday, and so we had our next senior meeting on Thursday. And so there was a book signing, and that book was called Joy, Just Older Youth Devotional for
Hmm.
Seniors. So it was exciting, to have 50, 60 people, coming up and getting books. And we gave them to them free as their gift from Christmas. It just came in, and it was powerful. It was powerful.
That's amazing, Janice. I love how you are just pouring your life out and giving back to others. That's just so amazing. Okay, so last, let's talk about your upcoming book that we're working on. So, and I say we because I'm helping you format and get that out right. Last step. So, tell everyone a little bit about what they can expect from this book.
Okay, so A Walk with Grace is kind of double, has a double
Has a double
meaning.
meaning. Yeah.
There you go. So the main character is Grace, and um, in the book, and then I tie that in with God's grace, which follows us and covers us and walks with us. It's God's, character trait of grace, his blessing upon us, that is there to meet us during our times of trouble. And so it's a Christian fiction based off of my true life events.
Okay.
And so I take the readers on a journey from being a wife and a mother of three boys, to losing my husband, to how God opened up doors, how God took care of things I experienced, how God um, was always there with me. So it's my true life experience in fiction form.
I love that and so excited for it to come out. Once we do, we'll update the description too to put the link to that book for anyone who wants to go get it. And I'll share it on my page as well too once it's out there. Say Janice, it was so great to have you here. I'm glad that we had the opportunity so you could share your gold nuggets of wisdom wisdom with everyone because you do have a lot of wisdom. I so honor and love older women. A lot of my closest friends are older than me. I've been like that since I was a kid. So always have loved wisdom from older people, try to learn. They say wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes. Why suffer when you don't have to just watch other people suffer and then learn from them?
If only we did.
Right? But yeah, but can't. I always try to teach that to my daughters, like learn from my mistakes so you don't make the same ones, but everyone's different. But I
Yes.
appreciate you taking the time. I can't wait for all this stuff to come out. I love your heart and how you just give, 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 give. And I know that it's because of a life sown in God, with God. And I think we can all sit here and say that you learned how to be trustworthy because of God, your life with God.
Yep. Well, that's how God trains all of us through the things we're going through, because, you know, the word says that he allows things, but he
Yep.
needs to allow some things so that we can become stronger with him. So when trouble really hits, we've got a firm foundation.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much. Bye, everyone. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so that other people can see and know that this is content worth engaging with. We will see you guys next week. Lady, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Before you go, I want to share something with you. Our stats show that most of you come back and listen every week, which is incredible and humbling and truly means so much. But most of our listeners actually aren't subscribed. If you'd like to help increase the reach of In Her Image, one of the simplest ways you can do that is by subscribing to the podcast. Subscribing helps the platform know this content matters and allows these conversations to reach more women who need them. You can also help by sharing an episode with a friend, letting them know that, hey, I listened to this and it was a blessing to me, and I think it can bless you too. Or you can leave a review. You can like, you can comment. All of these small actions make such a big difference. I want to thank you for being here and for being part of this and helping us grow. Until next time, keep becoming who God made you to be.